1 Chronicles chapter 23. When David was an old man, he appointed his son Solomon to be king over Israel. David summoned all the leaders of Israel, together with the priests and Levites. All the Levites who were 30 years old or older were counted, and the total came to 38,000. Then David said, "From all the Levites, 24,000 will supervise the work at the temple of the Lord. Another 6,000 will serve as officials and judges. Another 4,000 will work as gatekeepers, and 4,000 will praise the Lord with the musical instruments I have made." Then David divided the Levites into divisions named after the clans descended from the 3 sons of Levi: Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The Gershonite family units were defined by their lines of descent from Libni and Shimei, and the sons of Gershon. 3 of the descendants of the Libni family were Jehiel, the family leader, Zetham, and Joel. These were the leaders of the family of Libni. 3 of the descendants of Shimei were Shelomoth, Haziel, and Haran. 4 other descendants of Shimei were Jahath, Ziza, Jeush, and Beriah. Jahath was the family leader, and Ziza was next. Jeush and Beriah were counted as a single family because neither had many sons. 4 of the descendants of Kohath were Azram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel. The sons of Amram were Aaron and Moses. Aaron and his descendants were set apart to dedicate the most holy things, to offer sacrifices in the Lord's presence, and to serve the Lord, and to pronounce blessings in his name forever. As for Moses, the man of God, his sons were included with the tribe of Levi. The sons of Moses were Gershom and Eleazar. The descendants of Gershom included Shebuel, the family leader. Eleazar had only one son, Rehabiah, the family leader. Rehabiah had numerous descendants. The descendants of Ishar included Shelomith, the family leader. The descendants of Hebron included Jeriah, the family leader, Amariah, the second, Jahaziel, the third, and Jekameam, the fourth. The descendants of Uzziel included Micah, the family leader, and Isaiah, the second. The descendants of Merari included Mali and Mushi. The sons of Mali were Eleazar and Kish. Eleazar died with no sons, only daughters. His daughters married their cousins, the sons of Kish. 3 of the descendants of Mushi were Mali, Eder, and Jeremoth. These were the descendants of Levi by clans, the leaders of their family groups, registered carefully by name. Each had to be 20 years old or older to qualify for service in the house of the Lord. For David said, "The Lord, the God of Israel, has given us peace, and he will always live in Jerusalem." Now the Levites will no longer need to carry the tabernacle and its furnishings from place to place. In accordance with David's final instructions, all Levites 20 years old or older were registered for service. The work of the Levites was to assist the priests, the descendants of Aaron, as they served at the house of the Lord. They also took care of the courtyards and side rooms, helped perform the ceremonies of purification, and served in many other ways in the house of God. They were in charge of the sacred bread that was set out on the table, the choice flour for the grain offerings, the wafers made without yeast, and cakes cooked in olive oil, and other mixed breads. They were also responsible to check all the weights and measures, and each morning and evening they stood before the Lord to sing songs of thanks and praise to Him. They assisted with the burnt offerings that were presented to the Lord on Sabbath days, at new moon celebrations, and at all the appointed festivals. The required number of Levites served in the Lord's presence at all times, following all the procedures they had been given. And so, under the supervision of the priests, the Levites watched over the tabernacle and the temple, and faithfully carried out their duties of service at the house of the Lord.
1 Chronicles chapter 24. This is how Aaron's descendants, the priests, were divided into groups for service. The sons of Aaron were Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. But Nadab and Abihu died before their father, and they had no sons. So only Eleazar and Ithamar were left to carry on as priests. With the help of Zadok, who was a descendant of Eleazar, and of Ahimelech, who was a descendant of Ithamar, David divided Aaron's descendants into groups according to their various duties. Eleazar's descendants were divided into 16 groups, and Ithamar's into 8, for there were more family leaders among the descendants of Eleazar. All tasks were assigned to the various groups by means of sacred lots, so that no preference should be shown. For there were many qualified officials serving God in the sanctuary from among the descendants of both Eleazar and Ithamar. Shemaiah, son of Nathaniel, a Levite, acted as secretary and wrote down the names and assignments in the presence of the king. The officials, Zadok the priest, Ahimelech, son of Abithophar, and the family members of the priests and Levites. The descendants of Eleazar and Ithamar took turns casting lots. The first lot fell to Jehoiarib, the second lot fell to Jediah, the third lot fell to Harim, the fourth lot fell to Siroam, the fifth lot fell to Malachijah, the sixth lot fell to Majamin, the seventh lot fell to Hazak, the eighth lot fell to Abihah, the ninth lot fell to Jesua, the 10th lot fell to Shechaniah, the 11th lot fell to Elishib, the 12th lot fell to Jakim, the 13th lot fell to Huppah, the 14th lot fell to Jesubibab, the 15th lot fell to Bilgah, the 16th lot fell to Immer, the 17th lot fell to Hazar, the 18th lot fell to Habaziz, the 19th lot fell to Pethiah, the 20th lot fell to Jehezkel, the 21st lot fell to Jachin, the 22nd lot fell to Gamul, the 23rd lot fell to Deliah, the 24th lot fell to Mazah. Each group carried out its appointed duties in the house of the Lord according to the procedures established by their ancestor Aaron in obedience to the commands of the Lord, the God of Israel. These were the other family leaders descended from Levi. From the descendants of Amram, the leader of Shebuel, from the descendants of Shebuel, the leader of Jehediah, from the descendants of Rehabiah, the leader of Ishiah, from the descendants of Izhar, the leader of Shelomith, from the descendants of Shelomith, the leader was Jahath, from the descendants of Hebron, Jeriah was the leader, Amariah was second, Jehaziel was third, and Jekameam was fourth. For the descendants of Uzziel, the leader was Makai. From the descendants of Makai, the leader was Shemir, along with Ishiah and brother of Makai. From the descendants of Ishiah, the leader of Zechariah. From the descendants of Merari, the leaders were Mali and Mushi. From the descendants of Jaziah, the leader of Beno. From the descendants of Merari through Jaziah, the leaders were Beno, Shoham, Secure, and Ibri. From the descendants of Mali, the leader was Eleazar, though he had no sons. From the descendants of Kish, the leader was Jerahmeel. From the descendants of Mushi, the leaders were Mali, Eder, and Jeremoth. These were the descendants of Levi in their various families. Like the descendants of Aaron, they were assigned to duties by means of sacred lots, without regard to age or rank. Lots were drawn in the presence of King David, Zadok, Ahimelech, and the family members of the priests and the Levites.
1 Chronicles chapter 25. David and the army commanders then appointed men from the families of Asaph, Heman, Jeduthun, and Jeduthun to proclaim God's messages to the accompaniment of lyres, harps, and cymbals. Here is a list of their names and their work. From the sons of Asaph, there were Zachor, Joseph, Nethaniah, and Asarleah. They worked under the direction of their father Asaph, who proclaimed God's message by the king's orders. From the sons of Jeduthun, there were Gedaliah, Zeri, Jeshiah, and Shimei, Hashabiah, and Mattathiah, 6 in all. They worked under the direction of their father, Jeduthun, who proclaimed God's message to the accompaniment of the lyre, offering thanks and praise to the Lord. From the sons of Heman, there were Bokiah, Mattaniah, Uzziel, Shubael, Jeremoth, Hananiah, Hanani, Eliatha, Gidalti, Romantiezer, Joshbekashah, Melothi, Hother, and Mahazioth. All these were the sons of Heman, the king's seer, for God had honored him with 14 sons and 3 daughters. All these men were under the direction of their fathers as they made music at the house of the Lord. Their responsibilities included the playing of cymbals, harps, and lyres at the house of God. Asaph, Jeduthun, and Heman reported directly to the king. They and their families were all trained in making music before the Lord, and each of them, 288 in all, was an accomplished musician. The musicians were appointed to their term of service by means of sacred lots, without regard to whether they were young or old, teacher or student. The first lot fell to Joseph of the Asaph clan and 12 of his sons and relatives. The second lot fell to Gedaliah and 12 of his sons and relatives. The third lot fell to Zachor and 12 of his sons and relatives. The fourth lot fell to Zeri and 12 of his sons and relatives. The fifth lot fell to Nethaniah and 12 of his sons and relatives. The sixth lot fell to Bokiah and 12 of his sons and relatives. The seventh lot fell to Asarleah and 12 of his sons and relatives. The eighth lot fell to Jeshiah and 12 of his sons and relatives. The ninth lot fell to Mattaniah and 12 of his sons and relatives. The 10th lot fell to Shimei and 12 of his sons and relatives. The 11th lot fell to Uzziel and 12 of his sons and relatives. The 12th lot fell to Hashabiah and 12 of his sons and relatives. The 13th lot fell to Shubael and 12 of his sons and relatives. The 14th lot fell to Mattaniah and 12 of his sons and relatives. The 15th lot fell to Jeremoth and 12 of his sons and relatives. The 16th lot fell to Hananiah and 12 of his sons and relatives. The 17th lot fell to Joshbekashah and 12 of his sons and relatives. The 18th lot fell to Hanani and 12 of his sons and relatives. The 19th lot fell to Melothi and 12 of his sons and relatives. The 20th lot fell to Eliatha and 12 of his sons and relatives. The 21st lot fell to Hothar and 12 of his sons and relatives. The 22nd lot fell to Gedalti and 12 of his sons and relatives. The 23rd lot fell to Mahazioth and 12 of his sons and relatives. The 24th lot fell to Ramamonti, Ezer, and 12 of his sons and relatives.